So let so say for example you was introducing yourself.
Correct.
How would you introduce yourself to the world? Like what would be your like introduction to your bio type? You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody be like, okay, let's say I got a you know, professor like minded individual, very intellectual, very, you know what I'm saying, woke
Correct.
type individual. Like how would you introduce to yourself? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your first introduction video to let people know who you are, like
Correct.
what type of information, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Correct. Correct. Um, most definitely. First off, I would introduce myself as, you know, Afi Soul Matei. You feel what I'm saying? And that is spelled AFI. You know, soul as in SOL, not SOUL, and that's in contrast, or not in contrast, in comparison to the solar, the sun, because my attribute is the enlightener, and Mateye is Mete apostrophe E, and that's the concrete, that's the foundation of this tribe, this breed, the endangered species that we are. Not governed by a pigmentation, not governed by parents, not governed by relatives or blood relations, but like-mindedness. Those that share and are willing to sacrifice for the same vision. You see what I'm saying? And that vision is universal advancement, progress.
Right.
Um, you know, I would
I
say
mean,
that.
like, where you from, bro? Like, where you from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's part of your
uh,
story? You know what I'm
I
saying? The
am.
people like to hear like a story to bring them in. Like, what's the origin of your story?
The origin of my story is I have no location of where I'm from. I always have and I always will be. I am most defined, or most in detail defined, as an evolution of existence. And if at any time any individual, whether past, present, or future, could find the starting point, the beginning, or the first form, the first start of existence, then you have located me. And it is truth. It is not a belief. It is not a theory. It's not a concept. It is not an ideology. It is truth that there is never a time that existence did not exist. You understand what I'm saying? Not at a time where the creator, you see what I'm saying, existed and said, I created this and let there be life, for any form of existence, whether that is God, whether that God is, Yahweh, Allah, Jesus, whomever form, of whatever form, whatever spirit, whatever soul, whatever entity existed, it always existed. And it is truth that if existence did ever not exist, then it would not exist now. The origin of my story is that I have been incarcerated for the last 17 plus years. You see what I'm saying? I was incarcerated at 16 years old. The charges that that was placed upon me was, robbery with a deadly weapon, home invasion, and burglary of a dwelling. Me and my older brother, not my oldest brother, but my older brother, a couple of ages older than me, was my co-defendant. We did years in the county jail, a little over 3 years to be exact, and my co-defendant beat trial. Um, I was a minor. I was placed on the stand during his trial, and you know I refused to testify. I refused to incriminate a family member of mine, and I was railroaded for that. I was interrogated as a minor. It is universally known, or United States known, that it is illegally from any angle to interrogate a minor. Not to mention that my mother, I was arrested during school hours, and my mother was present during the interrogation and showed up in the interrogation room, in the waiting room, and the detectives refused to allow my mother to see me. I do admit that at that time I had not had experience with law enforcement. I had never been interrogated, and I was blind. I was ignorant to the fact that I should have stated or requested that I want to see my attorney or my mother, being a minor. During these times, I have not received, the correct or the just legal support. My mother wasted time on, or my mother wasted money on lawyers that railroaded me, and I have not received relief. Um, for
That's
so
that
many years,
that
fam. For so many years, I have wanted this opportunity. I've begged for this opportunity, and it's finally here. I apologize